So in this video, we're going to cover the remote sales interview question. What is your biggest weakness? This one comes up, and when I've interviewed tons and tons of reps, they're usually shocked by this one. They usually take a long time to pause and wait. And for those of you that are interviewing, for those of you that are looking to land a role, one thing you want to be doing is not only sales role plays and mock calls, is your interview mocks, because interview mocks is just like the sales mocks. If you want to get comfortable, if you want to know what to say, if you want to not have to pause and stutter and take all this time and get caught off guard, you've got to practice. And you can practice the interview process just like you practice the sales process. So if you don't do your interview mocks, this is probably going to happen to you. But for those of you that do, we're going to talk about how to answer that weakness question, because I see some people either do the way of answering it of not giving a real weakness, trying to like hide a good thing as a weakness. And then I see other people just being like, I don't know, good question, which is a terrible thing to do. And then you have other people that will just be like, I don't have any weaknesses, which again, terrible, terrible thing to do. And then you have the final person who just says a genuine weakness, and then they just pause there and say, yeah, this is my weakness, which is not the worst thing, but depending on what the weakness is, could not be good, could be fine. What you really want to do in this process is understand, one, what they're probably looking for when they ask that question. Not every business owner is the same. Some of them might just ask it just because they downloaded some kind of sales interview question sheet and they're just asking all the questions on there and they don't really know what they're looking for. Other business owners that are a little bit more experienced are usually looking for self-awareness and productivity. So like self-awareness meaning, can you identify your own weaknesses? And productivity meaning, I guess, resourcefulness, meaning, do you have the ability to not only recognize your weakness, but actually implement and do things to make efforts towards solving it? Being self-managed is a very, very important aspect, not only for a sales job, but for like almost every job out there. You want to hire someone who can get better at their job without micromanaging, right? Without having to overlook and point out every little thing they need to work on. You want to trust that they can just do their job and be left alone to do their job. And as they do their job, they progressively get better at their job over time without you having to be like, there's that, improve that, improve that, improve that, improve that, improve that, right? And this is a good question to see if that's the type of person that's in front of you, as well as it can look at their pride. Is this the type of person who is too prideful to admit their weakness as well? So lots of good stuff can be drummed from this question. As for how to answer it, what you want to do is give a real weakness. Don't give some kind of fake weakness that's not a weakness, that's kind of just a sly thing. Give a real weakness. Don't stop there. Talk about what you implemented to improve on this weakness, right? Again, some people, they'll give a real weakness. They'll talk about what they did to improve the weakness, and then don't stop there either. Because if you stop there, if you say, hey, this was my weakness before, this is what I did to solve it, good to go. The problem is, then it's just not a weakness. You should have given something else. It was never, if you solved it, it's no longer a weakness. So you're not answering the question, what is your weakness? This is about the here and now. What are you weak in now? So again, give a real weakness, but you also don't want to give a weakness that you haven't done anything to solve, because it's like, okay, if you identified that that's your weakness, why haven't you tried or done anything to resolve it? That's a red flag. So again, real weakness, thing that you've tried to solve. The next piece is talk about the results, talk about what came of it, talk about the improvements you made, talk about the lengths that you've gone to solve it and how it went. Then wrap it up with, I'm still working on it, I'm still improving, still have things to implement. Or you can even say, this is the next thing I'm trying to further improve on this weakness. Make sure it's not a weakness that's like a core sales thing. Like if you're applying for a closer role, don't be like, I'm just terrible at pitching. You know what I mean? You can talk about how you would love to, like, your biggest weakness is getting, like, you're good at closing up front, but you want to get more referrals in the process. Something that's not a core, but is a real weakness for you. Again, say what the weakness is, Say what you've done to implement to change it. I've tried this. I've implemented that. I've done this. When I've implemented that, this is how it went. This is how I improved. This is how my stats went up. This is how my close rate went up. This is how my show rate went up. This is how I improved mentally, physically, whatever it is. But I would like to double that increase. I would like to go from this percent to that percent. I've made some improvements, but it's not good enough for me. I'm going to also try this to continue that growth, continue on that path. If you present your weakness in this way, it shows that you're honest and humble enough to admit a real weakness. You are productive enough, resourceful enough to actually do something about it. You're not lazy. You're actually going to do stuff to improve upon yourself. You are good at measuring results. You actually look at the outcomes of the things that you do. So you're measured, but you did give a real weakness. This wasn't something fake. This wasn't just like a sly thing where you tried to say, I have a weakness that's not a weakness anymore. You gave a real weakness and you're looking to further improve upon it. Say your weakness is this way. It will be great. It will be impressive. It will be exactly what everyone's different, but most business owners, most recruiters are looking for. Hopefully that helps. See you guys in the next video.